Featherweights are so much better at lightweight, guys. These 145ers are actually better fighters when they go up to 155, you know. And featherweights in general might just be better than 155ers. And I'm going to explain why in this video. This actually kept me up at night, guys. I was like, bro, I needed to get to the bottom of why I feel like sometimes these 145ers go up to 155 and they almost look a lot more superior, or they look better than they ever have. Now, I'm going to bring up some fights, guys. Volkanovski, Islam Makhachev won. Yes, Volk lost that fight, but you can't tell me that Volk didn't go in there and show grit, show toughness, and show skill. You know, and before that fight, people were like, oh, Islam's going to kind of run through it, man, including me. I was surprised in that fight. And yes, I could cope saying, oh, but I don't think Islam's 100%. But it doesn't change the fact that I was one of the best Volkanovskis we ever seen in our life, despite the loss. Max Holloway, Gaethje. Before the fight, people are going to act like they don't know this now, but I swear to God, before the fight, it was Justin Gaethje's leg kick's going to be too much. Power of Justin Gaethje going to be too much. This, that, and the third. Gaethje's going to be too much for Max Holloway. Max goes in there, shuts him out, knocks him out in the fifth. Ilia Topuria Charles. Now, I know that most of us were saying, yeah, Ilia beats on him, Dr. Dre, hands on him, lots of base. Most of us were saying this is true. But the way Ilia beat Charles, and I did predict Ilia by knockout, so I don't want to come off as a hypocrite, like now I'm trying to like, oh, but maybe I thought, but still, seeing it happen was so different than like what I was saying. I was saying Ilia's going to knock him out cold and stuff. I said all that, but to see Charles flatten out like that, like a pancake, bro, go limp. I almost got like a weird feeling in my stomach, like, whoa, that really happened. You know, it's one thing saying it and one thing watching it. Max Holloway, Dustin. Now, people can say what they want. Dustin wasn't. I hate the whole Dustin wasn't in his prime. Bro, Dustin looked as good as he looked in the Islam fight. Was he in his prime in either of those fights? No. But did he go in there against Dustin and put it on Dustin? I thought Max won 5-0. I see some people saying 3-2 Max. I see some people saying, oh, well, Max 4-1. 4-1's not bad. I do think 5-0 because I do think every single round, Max showed the significant skill advantage he had in the hands, in the volume, and the power was showing through in that fight as well. And people say Dustin's chin's gone. No, Max Holloway has shown us that when he puts on the size appropriately and it's not fat, because the first time he was kind of chubby, like, you know, muffin top Max, that's what they called him, because he looked a little bit bigger in that sense, but he looked strong in this sense. And the Justin Gaethje fight proved that if he puts on the weight appropriately, he already carries the power. He did it against Dustin. You can see because Dustin was getting rocked left and right. It's not that Dustin has no chin and Dustin was so much worse than every other fight. No, Max Holloway put on the sides appropriately, beat him up. Even back to Eddie Alvarez, Conor McGregor. Yeah, we're going back there, guys. Conor looks so much better at 155 than he did prior. And was he knocking out people at 145? Absolutely. But the skill gap and how much stronger and quicker he looked actually full and 100%. I do think these 145ers are 100% at 155. In contrast, I look at these 145ers at 145. They're still winning. They still look great, but I don't think that they're 100%. Now, you're probably like, why are these 145ers already looking so good at 155? I want to point to my first narrative that I came up with, or the first point of view I came up with, is to justify that these featherweights are actually better at the higher weight class. One, they're naturally bigger guys. Keep in mind, guys, Volkanovski in his rugby days was 220. Their bone density isn't typical. Most of these 145ers I'm talking about in this video, they are naturally bigger guys. They are the ones who are sacrificing their body. If you look at Volkanovski, he was 220, huge as rugby, and he lost all that weight and decided to go 145 because he wanted to go against guys he felt like was physically a lot smaller than them via bone density and just girth, pause, and thickness. He wanted to go against guys he felt like, they might be the same size or a little bit taller than me, but they're not as strong as me. So Volkanovski decided 145. Ilia Topuria's coach said he walked around at 180 one time, and I remember I wanted to backhand his coach, like, why are you lying, bro? Ilia's not that big. This guy's not that big for 145. You're reaching. After seeing him go to 155 and look how strong he looked, I don't doubt the coach and what he said. At first, I remember everyone was kind of roasting his coach like, 180, Ilia, you guys sound stupid. No 180er is going to cut all the way down to 145. Well, I don't know anymore. Like, I don't not believe that. I do think Ilia's a naturally bigger guy, and around fight week and make fight weight, he's doing a lot of cutting and a lot of hard work and a lot of dieting. You know, even Max Holloway, I know he's not like these Volks and these Ilias who walk around big, but that 5'11" frame, the thing about having a tall, long frame, when you put on muscle appropriately on that frame, you're going to be a lot stronger than people are anticipating, which is really hard, which is why it's hard to take down Max and control Max and just smother Max. So these guys are naturally bigger. I can even bring up Conor McGregor, guys, who is a naturally bigger guy, and we're starting to see nowadays, guys, how big Conor McGregor really is, like when he's just chilling on his own. So he was really doing a lot to get down to 145, but when he did go up to 155 against Eddie Alvarez the first time around, he looked really sharp, really good, and really strong. These guys are naturally bigger guys, specifically these 145ers. And I even remember, guys, a tweet that Mazar put out not too long ago talking about, I'm ready to fight anyone. It could be 145, 155, all this. And I know he said anyone 145 or 155 because he knows that he's doing what these guys are doing. He's a naturally bigger guy, cutting down to 145 for an advantage. But honestly, they're not at their peak. Volk is not at his peak at 145. Neither is Ilya, neither is Max, and neither was Connor. Were they still winning? Yes. And I understand this. And I understand it's going to be hard for some people to grasp. They're like, but Kenny, Volk never lost in featherweight before the Ilya fight, blah, blah, blah. How is he better at 155? Kenny, Ilya was knocking out everyone at 145. How is he better at 155? Kenny, Max Holloway only lost to Volk. I understand what you guys are going to say. Even Conor McGregor knocking out everyone. It's not that they aren't good at that weight class. Yes, they're better than the other people at their weight class at their peak, and I agree with that. But they are not 100% themselves. They're not 100% as good as they can be in contrast to 155, which is why when they go to 155 for the first time, like Volkanovski, Islam, yes, he lost the fight, and you could be like, oh, he lost the fight to Islam, so that means he's not the best version of himself. I disagree. I think that was 100% Volk as far as takedown defense concerned, as far as striking, all this. As far as the whole package, that was 100% Volk. He just lost because Islam is that good. He had the unfortunate situation out of everyone on this like list who went from 145 to 155 to going against the pound for pound best. It could have been anyone else, guys, at that moment of time. Charles, Dustin, Gaethje. I do think Volk could have pulled through and beat these guys. This is no joke. Ilya Topuria at 155. Yes, he's knocking out Charles, but okay, but Kenny, he's knocked out fucking Volkanovski at 145 and Max Holloway. I know those are impressive names, guys, but the way Ilya looked, how strong he looked physically against Charles, who's very strong naturally, guys. Charles is a strong dude. Like, look at Charles clinching up against Islam and all these other guys. Charles is a strong guy, especially in the clinch, but the way kind of Ilya was judo flipping him and like reversing him and just kind of transitioning through him in guard, he looked so much stronger and more comfortable. And the speed on Ilya, for some reason, got quicker when he went up to 155. And I'm saying this because he's not using so much energy cutting weight, and all that speed and power is amplifying at 155. This is true. Max Holloway, guys, when he gained the weight appropriately, he looked so much better at 155 against Justin Gaethje, where he went in there and essentially masterclassed him. Same with Dustin Poirier. Like I said, you could try to call Dustin Wash. That really wasn't the case in that situation. That's just people coping. You cope with every fight. Even Conor McGregor, even though he's running through everyone, I do believe that Conor that went against Eddie Alvarez, who was motivated and ready and was not taking time off and stuff, that was the best version of Conor McGregor we've ever seen in our life. Because what? He took the time to add the weight appropriately and wasn't sacrificing his body. These 145ers are 100% themselves at 155, and they're not 100% themselves at 145, but it doesn't mean they can't win at 145. They're good any weight class, but when they go to 155, it's a little bit more significant. And I want to add an additional factor to the reasoning. I believe that at 145, they might be good, but they're not at their best. Look at these guys on the scale, guys. Look up pictures of them on the scale. Look at Volk on the scale. Look at Ilya on the scale. Look at Max on the scale. Sheba, brother. And look at Conor McGregor on the scale of 145. These guys essentially look like skeletons, man. They look so skinny, and it's almost like, holy crap, they're sacrificing a lot from their body. Now, weight cut takes a lot of energy from you. Fight night, they might feel rejuvenated, but I'm telling you right now, that's not their body at 100%. So when these guys finally get the satisfaction of going up in weight and feeling like, holy shit, I feel so much more refreshed this time around. That's why usually their first performance in a weight class up, when they gain the weight appropriately, they feel good and they look good. Win or lose, it doesn't matter if Volk's losing, It doesn't matter what's happening in the fights. They feel good and they look good and they perform better. They're not at their best when they're nearly on the deathbed cutting weight. Even, I can say this about other weight classes, like Charles Oliveira at 155. People might hate this. He might be better at 170, but now he's out of his prime, so it's going to be hard to tell. But some of these guys who are sacrificing literally their life trying to cut weight to get the advantage against these smaller guys, they're doing themselves a disservice, specifically these top 145ers, and I want to also address another point of view that is a kind of like another factor that leads to these featherweights being better at lightweights. The truth of the matter about 155 guys, when you really look at it from a scope, these guys aren't that skilled and they're not that fast, in contrast to 145. I'm not saying these guys aren't skilled fighters. I'm not saying Dustin and Justin and Charles, all these guys suck. They don't. And of course, there's some exceptions. Like Islam Makhachev, bro, it's Islam Makhachev. He's one of the best pound for pound fighters ever. But I want to point that these 155ers aren't as skilled as you guys might think. These Justin Gaethjes, how do I say this, bro, without cooking them too much? Justin Gaethje's a great fighter. He throws everything into his low kicks. He throws everything to his uppercuts, even though he telegraphs the fuck out of them, and he's powerful. they're not very skilled, and it's hard to gauge it. Okay, they're all skilled because they're professional fighters. My point is they're not as skilled or anywhere near the skill of 145ers, these top 145ers. And it shows when people like Max go in there with Justin, and he's kind of embarrassing him every round. Can Justin have moments with his power? Yes. Same with Dustin Max. Can they have moments with powers? Yes. Even Ilya Charles, like if Charles lands on Ilya, he did land on Ilya. Ilya ate it pretty well, but for the most part, can Charles look at the way Charles fights in general, walking forward, like. These fight styles aren't necessarily the most skilled thing ever. Even the way Dustin fights. I know you guys praise him like he's one of the best boxers. Dustin's not even a top 5 boxer in UFC. Like these Joshua Vans, these Ilya Taporias, man. Like there's so many people who box better than these guys. But we see them like do these weird stuff and then they just do a 1-2, a kind of telegraph 1-2. But when it lands, it fucking hurts, doesn't it? People don't understand the skill gap between 145 and 155. The skill gap is huge, guys. Like these Ilya Taporias and these Volkanovskis can go up there and almost outskill them. Even when Volkanovski went against Islam the first time, Islam's probably one of the most skilled people ever. Volk was, I'm not saying he was going skill for skill with him. Let's be real. Like even as an Islam fan, I can admit it. He was kind of going skill for skill with him. Even though he lost 4-1, he was still making it competitive. He was showing his skill. It can definitely translate to that weight class against the most skilled. I'm telling you, Volk just had the unfortunate window of fighting an Islam Makhachev because he was champion. Anyone else could not last with Volkanovski. These guys, like these Michael Chandlers, bro, they're powerful. Are they the most skilled people? I don't think so. You know, in addition to the skill, it's the speed difference, guys. These 145ers are so much faster than these 155ers in hand speed. Look at the way Dustin throws his punches. They actually aren't fast at all. And it really shows when someone like Max points down to these great strikers at 155, like these Justin Gaethjes, like these Dustin Poiriers. He points down, they start to swing. Speed for speed, these 155ers are nowhere near these 145ers. Like if Max points down at 145, like when he does it at 145, they keep up with the speed. Even if Max is faster, they keep up with it a little bit. These 155ers, bro, it's almost like, bro, they'll throw one shot and Max is already throwing 4 to your body and then he goes to your head. Like, you don't understand the speed difference. You know, even Ilya Charles showed that. Like, with the knockout blow that finished Charles, guys, Charles was in the middle of thinking of throwing a punch. He was in the middle of like trying to like process, okay, I'm about to throw, boom. He got hit with 2 hooks. Charles is trying to like, all right, let me throw, boom, boom. 2 hooks already on the ground. The speed difference, the skill difference, it's disgusting, you know. Even in Islam, Volk is showed there would be some times where like Islam would try to like do something, but Volk would get to the counter punch first and he'll point to him like, yeah, I got you there. Because the speed difference is so significant. It showed crazily in the Conor McGregor Eddie Alvarez fight when Conor first went up to 155. Because like Eddie Alvarez couldn't even complete his thought before Conor put him on the ground. You know, these guys and their speed is significantly better than these guys at 155, to the point where I want to like let you guys know that these guys at 145 are literally not at their best when they're fighting at their weight. And this could be, you can be said by a lot of divisions, but more specifically these 145-pound divisions. Because yes, 135ers can try to come up to 145 and have a good stake, or even these 125ers come up to bantamweight like Figgy. They'll do good against like these low-level guys, but when they go against the best, they won't do as good. You know, in my opinion, you know, even Aljamain Sterling, he went from 135 to 145. He's hanging with the best 145ers, but he's not dominating them the way these 145ers can go up and dominate these 155ers. And then 155 to 170 is different because it's a 15-pound weight jump at that point, you know? So it really can't be said for every division, but people might have the misconception that, no, this is every division. It's really not. 145 specifically, these featherweights are specifically a lot better than the weight class above because the skill and the speed and the fact that they are naturally the same size as these guys for the most part. But people just don't realize it. They don't realize it. Like, it's almost like if Islam Makhachev just went down to 145 and we didn't question it. Because he probably could do that. He could probably make that weight cut. What, he's 183? If Ilya Tapori is actually walking around at 180 and he can make 145, then I suppose Islam, who weighed 178 against Moicano, could actually, if he really wanted to, make that weight, but it would sacrifice his body. Islam gets it. That's why Islam's like one of those rare breeds if he's so much ahead of his competition, because he understands, yeah, I could cut down to 145, but these 155ers aren't on my level. He goes in there, he's smoking these guys. He's smoking them. So I want it to be known that these featherweights, no matter how good they're actually doing in their featherweight weight class, they're not actually at their best until they go up to 155. And a lot of people like Mobs they're going to figure it out soon. I really feel like they're sacrificing their body, making the weight. And are they still strong in that weight class? Yeah. Are they still quick? Yeah, sure. But they are honestly will be better than most of these 155ers who people gas up. Like these patties and stuff, man. I'm telling you guys, put Patty against Max, you'll see something that you wouldn't believe. Max would, oh my God. What Max would do to Patty should be illegal. What Ilya would do to Patty shouldn't be filmed. What Volk would do to Patty. All these guys would destroy Patty. Like, I want you guys, and Patty's, oh yeah, one of the best 155 prospects, dude. Yeah, Cowabunga, man. Brother, beats on him, Dr. Dre, hands on him, lots of bass. Any of these guys, bro, these guys you guys think are top 155ers, put them against the best featherweights in the world, see what happens. You know, put these best featherweights against 155ers. The 155ers stay. Keep making the same weight you've been making your whole life. Stay there. These 145ers will come up and they'll show you levels. They'll beat you so bad, it starts to make people question, is 155 an overrated division? Because you hear a lot of people say 155 is the best division. You hear this, guys. This is normal, brother. Even before the 145ers came up, for years, 155 has been that division. The best division, the best prospects. We got Anthony Pettis here, dude. We got Conor McGregor. We got Khabib. And it's true to a sense. We got Dustin Poirier. Are these guys good fighters? Yes. But can they compete with the best 145ers in the world, prime for prime? No. Even when those 145ers go up. Because one, they're naturally bigger guys. Two, they're sacrificing their lives, literally cutting down to 145. You can see it on the scales. And three, when they actually go up to 155, the skill and the speed and all those differences are so significant to the point that not only will they beat you if you're around the same skill, or around the same ranking, but they will masterclass you. They'll make it look like you shouldn't have been in there with them. Like I said, Islam's really the only if Islam didn't exist, guys, I'm telling you, these 145ers, like Volk would have been double champ. Ilya would have been double champ. He already is double champ. Max Holloway would be double champ if some other people didn't. What I'm saying? These 155ers, they're good. And I'm not making this video to shit on the 155 pound division. I'm really just making this video to praise these featherweights and make people understand it's deeper than just a smaller guy going up in weight and just having lighter man skill. Anyone can have lighter man skill, but it's the fact that these 145ers, the lighter man skill they have is not really lighter man skill, because in reality, they're the same size as these lightweights. They just happen to be more skilled. Simple as. Featherweights, if you're watching this and you're a featherweight, stop sacrificing your body, bro, trying to cut weight. Do what you understand and trust your skill. If you trust your skill, you're going to realize a lot of these guys you're fighting, you actually happen to be a lot better than them. Trust your skill. Go up in that weight. Don't cut that extra pound, and you'll be at 100% physically. You know what else helps, I feel like? Them fighting at these lower weight classes a couple fights. Not just starting off their career at 155, but fighting at the lower weight class, feeling the speed difference against these guys, then going up to 155 like, whoa, these guys are a lot slower. I bet Ilya felt that way when he went up to 155 and was trading with Charles in the pocket. The first exchange, he probably was like, he's not as fast as these Volks. He's not as fast as Max. He's not as fast as these guys. They definitely feel it. And I know Max feels it too. Because when Max is you can see in the confidence when he points down, it's a little bit different when he was pointing down at 145, wasn't it? They understand the speed difference they have and the power they can still generate because they're naturally bigger guys with their frame. 145ers beat 155ers 9 times out of 10, guys. So if there's ever a case where 145er is going up to 155 specifically, trust the 145er and trust them, because you got to realize they're naturally probably the same size or around the same size as these 155ers. And secondly, their speed and skill advantage is going to be very significant. This only really applies to the top featherweights. Of course, I'm sure if you're a shitty featherweight in general, you go up to 155, you get embarrassed via power and strength and all that. This is my honest opinion about this situation. I want you guys to understand this after watching this video. And I actually had to do some research into this, because I was really questioning why this weight class specifically am I seeing these guys go up against the best 155ers in the world and beats on them, Dr. Dre. Hope you guys understand that now. Hope you guys have a better understanding. But that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think down below. Shout out Max Holloway for getting it done over this weekend. He's really the reason I made this video. I had to take a deeper look after seeing him put it on Dustin, because I saw people just saying Dustin just sucks now. Not the case, man. Not the case. But that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed, and God bless. 2, 3, 4.